We'll talk about those more in depth shortly. And the second one is the SAT. So what does the test cover, and when should your students take it? The PSAT NMSQT should be taken as a sophomore or a junior. Sophomore year to really practice and then get familiar with the test, and then junior year to qualify for national merit. No matter when you take the PSAT NMSQT, the only time you can qualify for national merit would be during your junior year. So that's what I meant by that. That sophomore year would just be practice. You'll qualify for national merit that junior year only. And we'll talk more in depth about that in a later slide. And it covers the reading, writing, language, as well as math. And then we have the SAT, which is better taken as a junior or senior. Okay, the spring of that junior year would be perfect if you were to take the PSAT NMSQT as a junior in the fall, and then in the spring take the SAT. SAT also covers the reading, writing, math, and language. And that senior year would just be a second shot. A lot of times, and a later slide will say this as well, a lot of times students do better the second time that they take the SAT. So that first try in their junior year, and then if they want to get a better score because they've got a feel for how the test drives, then they'll take it that senior year. Okay, so looking at the SAT, what is it? Exactly. Sometimes we hear college readiness and we hear SAT and we hear PSAT. What does it really mean? Well, the SAT is a globally recognized college admission test. What does that mean? In a nutshell, colleges, when they begin to accept students, they're looking at, is this student college ready? Meaning, are they ready for English 1? Are they ready for Algebra 1? That's what they mean by college ready. Are they going to be able to understand and do the work to be successful in that credit-bearing college class, English 1 and Algebra 1? Well, to determine whether a student is college ready, SAT is one of the tests that colleges and universities look at. So that's what they mean by global recognized college admission. Also used by colleges for admission, course placement. And that's what I meant a moment ago when I said, are they going to place you in English 1, or are they going to place you in Algebra 1, or would you need a developmental course if you had not met the necessary target, if you had not done well on the SAT? And then scholarship opportunities. So you have organizations that main goal is to give out scholarships. They want to give these scholarships out to students that are going to excel. So one of the ways they determine who should have these scholarships is they look at your SAT score. So these are just some reasons why students would want to take it, to better understand a little bit about the SAT. Also, it's a way to show colleges that you know how to apply the knowledge that you have. So really a student should look at it in terms of, I'm taking the SAT to show these colleges what I can do. It would be similar to, in football season, it would be similar to a tryout where they go out there and really show the skills that they have. The SAT is the academic equivalent to that. And then connect with the College Board, college planning and financial resources. College Board has a ton of online financial resources and webinars that can help students get started. So taking the SAT and opting into some of those, and we'll get into that in a later slide, would definitely help students to prepare. So next, what is on the SAT? So when we really look at that, we're talking about exactly what are they going to be tested on. So in this slide, hopefully everyone can see this slide, we have the main three areas: evidence-based reading and writing, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Then we have the math, and then we have the essay. And the essay, you'll notice it says optional there, and it is optional, but students should take advantage of the essay because when they're applying to multiple schools, the higher tier colleges still want the essay. It's their last chance to get a pure writing sample from the student. So even though some colleges may not require it, we want our children reaching for the stars, and the majority of the higher tier schools are still asking for the essay. And on a side note, if a student takes the SAT without the essay, and then a college is wanting to talk with them and they're asking for the essay, we don't just give the essay by itself. They would have to take the entire test again with the essay this time. So just some points I wanted parents to really understand so that they can help their children to make the right decision. Let's look down at the bottom of that slide so you can kind of get an idea of what the student will be going through. They'll be testing for 3 hours. Okay, the score ranges from 200 to 800 per section. Okay, and when they're talking about per section there, they're talking about that evidence reading and writing section and that math section. And that's why it's saying 400 to 1600 is the overall, because they're talking about those two scores. The essay is scored separately. And then there's no penalty for guessing or leaving blank responses. So you're not going to get points off. In the old SAT, they took 1/4 of a point off. They don't take any points off if it's blank, and they don't take any points off if it's if you got it wrong, if you just guessed at it. Okay, they're looking at how many you can get correct. And looking at the essay down at the bottom, you'll see that the essay, they get 50 minutes to do it, and then they get a score range of 2 to 8 in each of the dimensions there: the reading, the analysis, and the writing. They'll get a score of 2 to 8 in each one. So back to the top with the evidence reading and writing, you'll see that this consists of a reading test of 65 minutes and a writing and language test of 35 minutes. That's what students would be enduring in that particular section. They look at both multiple choice and passages, so they'll have some reading to do, definitely. They look at measuring words in context, command of evidence, expressing total ideas. All of these will also come in a later slide where you can see them together. But these are the root of what students would be studying or practicing, per se, to get ready for the test. And we'll talk about a great practice site in a later slide as well. And then we'll look at the math. The math has two sections here. You have a section where you can use a calculator, and you have a section where you don't use a calculator. So it's testing both. Mostly multiple choice, but then you do have a few where you have to produce a response. You have to work something out. Focuses on the hearts of algebra, problem solving, data analysis, and all of those two go to the root of math. And then we have the essay. It's similar to college writing assignments. Okay, what a student would have to write in a credit-bearing college course, in other words. Essay prompts are always the same, but passages may vary. And then explain how the author builds an argument to persuade an audience using evidence from in a passage. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea of what the SAT really covers. So we'll go a little bit more into the slides. So let's look at scoring, because a lot of times when scores come back, the first thing students and parents want to know is, what does this score mean, and how did you all come up with this score? So we'll start at the top there when you look at total score. So as we said in the slide before, total score between 400 and 1600. But let's drill down some to see where does that number really come from. So inside the test, you've got two section scores, okay, that build up to that total score. Your two section scores are between 200 and 800. Okay, one being the evidence-based reading and writing, and the other being the math. So 200 to 800 for each of them. That's where you get the total of 1600. Notice we're building up. Okay, so then the third tier there looks at the three test scores: the reading, the writing, and language, and then the math. Those each have a scale score of 10 to 40, and that builds up. Then you've got the cross test scores where it's 10 to 40 also, and that's in analysis of science and analysis of history and social studies. Okay, those are both new to the SAT. Then you drill down deeper into the 7 sub-scores, which have a range scale of 1 to 15. And this is where you really see the words in context, command of evidence, expression of ideas. These are at the root of the SAT. So when you look at the very bottom, you'll see the essay scores, and that's where you have the reading analysis and the writing, as we said in the slide before as well. And those have a range of 2 to 8. The essay is graded by 2 separate people, each of them giving a score between 1 and 4 in each of the categories, which is how you get the 2 to 8. So if I graded 1 and Mr. Andre graded the other one, okay, for the 2 for the student, and if I gave him a 1 in reading and he gave him a 1 in reading, that's how they get a 2. But if he gave him a 4 and I gave him a 4, then that's how they would get an 8 in each of them. So it's 2 people grade them. It's not just 1. Okay, we'll continue. And let's look at the SAT and the administration process. Okay, a student's SAT scores is just one factor among many that colleges consider when making an admission decision. Okay, so primary factors here, and I think this is real important, just to see the big picture. So primary factors, quality of challenging academic courses. So a college is saying, what type of coursework did you take while you were in high school? Did you take AP, advanced placement courses? Things like that. And that's part of what your counselors have been talking with the students about all through high school. What type of courses are they taking? And the reason being is because higher tier schools, and most schools in general, look at what type of courses was the student engaged in. Academic performance and grades, and then how did you do in those courses? The courses that you took, what type of grades did you make? Of course, we want to make straight A's because that's what shows that we're above average, excellent in every subject. And when a student takes that challenge and does that, colleges are looking at that. And when you've made straight A's all through, or maybe 1 or 2 B's, you are standing out to higher tier schools. And then they look at your test scores, which is what we've talked about. The SAT, then we have SAT subject tests, AP advanced placement, which are classes that students take generally during their senior years. And then additional factors. So what else besides those? Because majority of parents probably knew those first 3, but then what else? Extracurricular activities. What have you been participating in while you've been in school? I've worked in administration in K-12 schools, 15 years experience in it, and I can tell you that extracurricular activities look really, really great to colleges. When you can say that you were on a debate team, when you can say that you played sports, and but sports isn't all that you want to say. In the different clubs and organizations, you should be a well-rounded student. That helps when you're looking to stand out against someone else. Maybe you had the same test scores, maybe the grades were similar, but you were president of the debate team, you played basketball, you were on the chess club, and you volunteered at a local hospital or hospice or something of that nature. Those things look great. Uh, Essays that you may be writing, essays that are great for scholarships and things of that nature. Letters of recommendation that may come from part-time jobs. Teachers write letters of recommendation. Counselors, staff members that really interacted with students. Uh, and then demonstrated interest, and that would be, like I was saying, volunteering at the hospital, hospice, nursing homes, things of that nature. Getting hours in, even in your field, volunteering in something that you're looking to major in. Uh, Next, we'll look at when to register. So when you get the slides from Mr. Andre, you'll really want to lock in these dates here. 2 out of 3 students improved their score when taking the SAT twice. Now, notice I said that earlier because it's really about learning how to sit for that test and what it's going to feel like for those 3 hours and jumping from those subjects. You know, and it really does great if students are able to even take tests in lower grade levels before the 10th grade, like PSAT 8-9 as an 8th or 9th grader, or PSAT 10 as a 10th grader. Students that take those tests at that level also do better once they've gotten to the SAT, because that's not their first time seeing it. They've seen it for 3 to 4 years. We talked about when you should take the test, and then taking the test a second time. We kind of talked about that already as well. Notice at the bottom you can register there at sat.org/register. So, I've tried to put some of the web addresses right in here for you, make it easier for you. Registering for the SAT with the essay. The SAT essay is optional. We've spoken about that, but some colleges may require or recommend it as part of the application process. Students should contact the colleges directly to check their essay policy. Definitely have them do that ahead of time. If you've got a junior or a senior, they should definitely be doing that at this time. Students can sign up for the SAT essay during the registration process or the late registration deadline, either or. And then wanted to touch on SAT fee waivers. Eligible students qualify for up to 4 fee waivers. 2 of the SAT, 2 for the SAT and 2 for SAT subject test. Okay, so a fee waiver is saying 100% of the registration fee for a single test is taken care of. Okay, 4 additional score reports, students can get fee waivers for those. A college of their choice at any time for a free, regardless of how many fee waivers are used. Okay, so doesn't connect with the fee waivers. This is for score reports, sending your scores to schools. This is what we're talking about here. You get 4 of those, and then up to 4 requests for to waive the college application fee. So that's also, we're looking at benefits that come with the SAT. You've got free access to questions and answer services and student answer services when ordering during registration, so that's part of registration. You've got domestic students who use the SAT fee waiver while applying for college for the first time may also receive CSS Financial Aid Profile fee waivers. I've got a slide on that later on that'll kind of explain that more. That is another way to apply for financial aid that some institutions look at. And I have another slide that'll kind of talk on that a little bit more in depth. So, here we go. College application fee waivers. So students who use the SAT fee waiver when registering for the test get 4 college application fee waivers through their online College Board account. when students sign up to take the test, they give an email address as they create their College Board account. Creating that College Board account is very important because that's how College Board communicates with you. That's how you get your scores back, and that's how you get your fee waivers and that type of information. And the reason I wanted you to really know about this is because they need to use those and apply to that many schools at the very least. So at the very least, use those for and apply to those schools. You never know how things might shake out and you get into a school that you didn't expect to get into. So the more schools that you apply to, the better chance that you have of getting into a great school. Students using the college application fee waiver form should ask their counselor to help with their college application process. I have more information there for you at sat.org/fee waivers. Definitely check that out. You want to maximize your fee waivers, the use of them. Score reporting. And so, as I said before, that College Board account is how you're going to get your scores back, and the online score report gives you even more detail, okay, than the paper score report. So the students will get a paper score report from the campus, but it's as much information as we can fit on 2 pieces of paper, front and back. But the online score report, that's the one that has even more detail for the student, their history of tests and everything. So 4 free reports are included with your SAT registration, sending those scores to campuses, to colleges. Because, once you get your scores back, you need to send them to the colleges. That's what they're going to be asking for. What did you make? And you'll send your scores. With score choice, you can choose which scores you want to send. So that's a good point. A student may take the SAT and doesn't feel like they did well. They don't have to send that score. They can take it again and send the next score. If they don't feel like they did well, they can take it again and send the score that they feel like they really achieved high marks on. Now, this is a really great app that College Board has produced. We're really, really trying to step out on a limb and reach out and give parents as much access and students as much access as possible. And we all use our cell phones so much. We have these smartphones and they can do so much. So College Board produced an app called SAT Score Converter. It's a smartphone app. It's for iPhones, Androids. It's easy to convert old to new SAT scores. It's going to say this in the next slide, but just so you understand, it's saying, let's say that your student took the old SAT. They can download the Score Converter app, SAT Score Converter app. Be sure you're downloading the right one. They can download that app, put in their results from the old SAT, and the Score Converter will tell them how they would have done on the new SAT. So that is truly excellent, and it also works vice versa. It can give you, if you've taken the new SAT, you can put in the same score information. It'll show you how you would have done on the old SAT. It will also show you how you would have done on the ACT. Great feature. Let's look at more information on that at sat.org scores. How it works. Let's look at the app right quick just so you understand. So the SAT Score Converter here, just as I described, new to old in that one. And then you choose, which one you're trying to do. And then you begin to put your scores in there. And then you put your actual test scores in there. Remember, we drilled down in that earlier slide. You would be putting all of those scores in there. And then it shows you what the converted score would be. Notice in the box, it's showing you your old score, and at the bottom, it's showing you what it would have been with the new. And then, like I said before, also the ACT conversion. So, we're really, really trying to stay on the cutting edge and providing parents and students with what they need to be successful. Okay, so getting ready for the SAT. What do students need to know when they're trying to get ready to take the SAT? Well, one of the things is choose challenging high school courses. We talked about that, and in the essence of time, I'm going to speed up somewhat. Uh, Read and write extensively. So in the summertime, parents, you may find creative ways to have your students write, because you know them the best. If they're interested in cooking, you could ask them to write an essay about their favorite recipe. If they're into gardening, same thing about their favorite seeds or plant. So, things of that nature to just help them to be writing a lot. Uh, Take the PSAT as a sophomore or a junior. That really helps as well because, like we said before, it helps you to see how to drive the test. And when I say drive the test, I mean, getting in test taking mode and taking the test, driving through it and being able to stay, shall I say, play all 4 quarters of the test and not get off track during those 3 hours. Learn more about the SAT question types, formats, and directions. You're just getting used to the process. And then take advantage of the free personalized resources at satpractice.org. And that's also one of the resources I have for you at the end of this PowerPoint. And then the Khan Academy. Khan Academy is a great resource. We're beginning our second year with Khan Academy. Last year, the College Board and Khan Academy collaborated to create the practice, the official practice for SAT, PSAT, PSAT 8-9, all College Board suite assessments, all SAT suite assessments. Khan Academy is the free, I say it again, parents, it is the free way to practice for the SAT. And it's also very exciting, it's terrific, it really helps students. It has detailed videos. If students learn quickly, they can watch the video one time and move on. If students need a little longer, then they can watch the video over and over to really let the information set in. Another quick point is when you're talking about Khan Academy, remember that College Board account I was saying earlier that students need to make? Well, they'll also make a Khan Academy account when they begin working with Khan Academy, and you link the two accounts. When you link your Khan Academy account with your College Board account, then that allows Khan Academy to give you personalized practice unique to how you performed on the PSAT, NMSQT, PSAT 10, PSAT 8-9, your SAT, whichever test you have taken. When you link your College Board account and your Khan Academy account, it then allows the Khan Academy to personalize your practice. It's going to say, Fred, and I'm Fred by the way, you need to work on this because of how you performed on your last test. So that is very important to link those two accounts. Daily practice for the SAT. You can go to sat.org/daily practice. It has daily practice questions that as a parent you can text them to your child and maybe have them for them when they get home on the refrigerator or on their door or on their computer somewhere, and expect an answer from them. Just letting them know that, hey, it takes preparation to do well on this, and being familiar with these questions and getting your mental process down pat is very important to be successful. And instant practice test scoring. On that app, you can also take an actual test on a piece of paper, take a picture of it, and it'll grade it for you immediately from that picture. You can't beat that. I'm telling you, we've went all out to try to make it really easy for you. So as a parent, you could have your child to do the test. When you get home, you can use the app, take the picture, see how they did, and you guys can talk about the results. And then, use Khan Academy to continue to get better. College readiness, find useful information about SAT and register for the SAT at sat.org, SAT and SAT subject test. So you can do that at sat.org. I'm going to continue to move a little faster just to respect your time. So now we'll talk about the PSAT, NMSQT, which is the National Merit. Whoops, didn't want to do that. About the PSAT, NMSQT, it stands for Preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. That's the one that gets you the scholarships as a junior. It only helps you as a junior. You'll take it to practice in the 10th grade or maybe even in the 9th grade to get ready, but you won't qualify for the National Merit Scholarships until you take it as a junior, 11th grade year. So student benefits, it connects to millions of scholarships, as we talked about, measures progress toward college readiness, free personalized practice through Khan Academy, we just spoke about that, and then opportunities to take AP courses. I don't want to run past that because that last one is important. How does it give you opportunities to take AP courses? What happens is in the district, so like in the administration building at DeSoto ISD, they're able to look at the they're able to look at the results of a student's PSAT, NMSQT, and say, you know what, because of how the student did on this portion of the test, they would do well in advanced placement courses of that subject. And that's how districts make sure students don't fall through the cracks. They look at a report from the results that's available to districts, and they say, hey, Fred, you should sign up for AP courses in case Fred wasn't already on that track. Because of how you did on the PSAT, NMSQT, you would do great in advanced placement courses, AP courses. And you can speak with your counselor, campus counselor, about that as well. The PSAT Advantage, students who've taken the PSAT are familiar with the structure of the SAT, as we said. The PSAT NMSQT includes the same types of choices. It's similar. It's the preliminary SAT. What that's saying in a nutshell is it's going to be very similar to the SAT, so the student would do better when they took the SAT. And then test takers in 11th grade automatically are screened for the National Merit Scholarship Program, as I spoke about. Inside the PSAT NMSQT, it's 2 minutes and 45. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes. Just like the SAT, there's no penalty for guessing or leaving answers blank, and the score ranges from 320 to 1520. Once again, personalized practice through Khan Academy. And I put this in here. I'll allow you to look at this. It's more information on Khan Academy and how your students can. There's even group study here. That's something really good to look at. If you can get students together in a group, you know, the competition comes out and they learn more faster. Other College Board programs, as I wind down here, I just have a few more slides. The student search services, when students are signing up to take a College Board Suite test, it asks them, would they like to be in a free program that connects students with colleges and universities? And if the student opts in and says yes, then it will take the College Board test, and colleges will send them information. Once they take the College Board test, colleges will send them information about the program. Because when they're opting in, then those colleges are looking at some of the questions that they've been asked when they're signing up. When they bubble in certain things when they're taking the PSAT and SAT, it asks them questions like, what major do you like? What school would you plan to go to? You know, there's about 10 or 15 questions that it asks them, and those colleges look at those questions to say, oh, we've got a big sociology program. This student did really well, and they are interested in sociology. It'll send them some information about their program. So it's almost like the student doesn't have to go out in that regard. Some of those campuses, some of those universities will be coming to the student because of what they filled out when they were doing the SAT or PSAT. As I said earlier, this is the slide I was referring to that will come back later on, the CSS Financial Aid Profile. This is another way to apply for financial aid for scholarships. Some non-federal schools use this profile as well as FAFSA to determine who they're going to give out scholarships to and financial aid to. You know, there are institutions out there that give away scholarships, but also colleges have money to give away to students. So they have scholarships, and they look at this profile as well when determining who should they give some of this money to. Qualifying students can also get up to 8 fee waivers to apply for financial aid, and any college and university that uses this profile. And you can find more information right here at profileonlinecollegeboard.org. It's a great resource. Okay, I only have a couple of more slides here. Big Future, really, and I know it's 7:30. Big Future is really good for students to. It helps them find colleges, pay for college, and really make a plan and put it into action. A lot of times we have a cognitive plan, but we don't really have a plan we can see. And Big Future helps students to make that plan that they can see. Free comprehensive websites. Students can create a college plan, as it says, and start a college list and personalize and make a personalized plan for college. BigFuture.org. I know it's at the end, but I don't want to overshadow that. That is important. Parents, have your students look, have your children look more at that, and you look at that with them. Big Future makes it easy. College Board has put everything you need in one place. And then these 2 final slides here are just resources. These are some of the email addresses, web addresses that I had in the PowerPoint for you. So, you know, I know I had to rush at the end, but, you know, I really enjoyed this. This has been terrific, and I'm really excited about the number of participants that we have here and the number of students that can benefit from this information. So, Andre?
Well, Fred, you've given us some great information, and I want to give the parents an opportunity to ask some questions as we wind down. I've entered one of the questions that I had. Given that we've gone from the old SAT and it had a different scoring criteria to the new SAT, what should parents be talking to their student about in terms of making a good SAT score? So what's a good SAT score?
Definitely, you know, if you can get 1600, that's definitely a great score to make. You know, if you can get 1200, 1300, you know, you're doing okay. But the higher the better, because, you know, you're looking at it topping out at 1600. So the closer you can get to 1600, the better you're going to be. And that means to do well on the evidence-based reading and writing side and the math side, because those two come together to make that 1600. So if you can get, you know, 700, 650 on each of those, then it'll come together for a real nice score for you.
Okay, thanks, Fred. And
always check your colleges as well to see what score they're looking for. So that kind of will help you know the range you need as well.
Thanks, Fred. I'm glad you said that. And while parents may be thinking about some other questions, parents, you should know that DeSoto ISD offers the PSAT 8. And so when your students were in the 8th grade, they took the PSAT 8, and we will be administering the PSAT 8 this year for the 8th graders and the PSAT 9. So we have strategically placed those tests into the curriculum so that by the time they take the SAT or the National Merit, the qualifier, that they have familiarity with the test, and so that's a benefit of being in DeSoto ISD. I was also reminded that we have some great summer programs. The one that comes to mind is the Text Prep. Now, while it is a pre-engineering program, I don't think we can ever do enough to help our students gain a competitive edge when it comes to mathematics instruction. So parents, as we get closer to the summer, and actually I'm going to say that differently. As soon as we get into 2017, plan to talk to your child's site coordinator and really get hooked up with many of the summer programs that we have in order to give your children a positive edge. I see Heidi has entered a note that on November the 2nd this year, that our students will be taking the PSAT 8 and 9. And Fred, if you could respond to her question, what can students do in the next couple of months to prepare for that test?
It would be Khan Academy. It would definitely be. The main thing that we want to do is make sure that the students have linked their Khan Academy account with their College Board account, because with the students have taken the PSAT 8, 9 as 8th graders, and they have taken the PSAT 8, 9 as 9th graders, then they need to make sure that those two accounts are linked so that they can get the unique practice from Khan Academy, and to continue to work on that, because that is driving student scores up. And that's really the best advice that you can give the students right now. Link those accounts and utilize Khan Academy. When you're on Khan Academy, it allows you to practice with just the evidence-based reading writing if you would like, or just the math if you would like, or the entire test. So it gives you a couple of options so that you don't just get bored having to take the whole test over and over again. If your unique practice is leaning more toward the evidence-based reading and writing, then that's because you struggled there, and the same is said for if it's leaning toward the math.
Okay, perfect. And parents, I would encourage you to, things have changed. You know, back in the day, you had to have a face-to-face meeting with someone, but now with technology, Khan Academy is a wonderful site, and it has rich resources. So as we are working with students, we will be encouraging them to set aside time weekly and really have a serious conversation with themselves, see where they're strong, but also see where they're weak, and take advantage of not only the online resources, but the tutorials that we also offer in DeSoto ISD to prepare for the tests. Parents, I do want to give you all an opportunity to ask as many questions as we have an expert here. I see Sheila has entered a question. Will students who took the PSAT 8 last year as an 8th grader take the PSAT 9 this year as a 9th grader? And the answer is yes. And so we are already making preparations for that. We've been in conversation with our people in testing and accountability. So the answer to that question is yes. We do have the site coordinators online, as well as our family financial literacy advocate, Heidi Williams. I do want to give them an opportunity to add to the conversation so that we give parents as much rich information as we can to help them prepare their child to go to college for free. So parents, this is an opportunity. We have a national expert online, and Fred, again, I want to thank you for taking your time. Parents, we are recording this. We will make this available, so I would invite you, I would beg you to share this information with other parents. We'll be sending out the URL. We'll post it on our Facebook page. We'll put it on our website so that if you need to go back to it, then you have access to it. Additionally, parents, the PowerPoint slide show that you see this evening, the one that Fred used, we are going to make available to you. So If you want to go back and take a look at those links or review it, then we will make that available to you as well. I see Jewel has asked about text prep. We sponsored 2 groups of students for text prep. The first one was at the University of North Texas at Dallas, and then the second one is located at Cedar Valley College. And if you just search text prep, and I'm going to type in that link so that you can have it. Text prep actually comes out of the University of Texas at San Antonio. They receive the funding, and so they disperse monies to colleges and universities all across the state. In DeSoto, because your child is a part of the Gear Up, you should know, parents, that Gear Up pays the $500 local fee for your child. It is a 7-week course during the summer. It is Monday through Friday. We provide transportation. This past year, we provided it at East Middle School, so the students would go to East Middle School. The buses will pick them up, take them from East to UNT Dallas, as well as Cedar Valley in the mornings. Then in the afternoon, the bus will bring them back. And so we provide transportation. It's 7 weeks long. It's 5 days a week. It is a great program. Every student that we have sponsored to go to that comes back with rave reviews, and they tell us that they just wish school could be like that. But that is a service that is provided to you because your child is a part of the Gear Up cohort. Site coordinators, Heidi, are we missing anything before we close out the session? I see it's 7:40, and we do want to be respectful of the time as well as Fred's time here this evening. So if there's anything that I've missed, please jump in and let us know.
No, I just want to say thank you all for joining us tonight and remind you that tomorrow we have the college fair out at the high school, so you'll have a chance to meet some of the representatives from the colleges that your student might be applying to after they take these tests. So a good chance to get out there and talk to them, ask them what is a good PSAT score to ensure entrance into that university or college.
Thanks. I'm glad you said that, because parents, one of the things that as you get into the college applications or the college admissions experience, you will find that different colleges have different requirements. You'll find many colleges will accept dual credit, but you'll also find that there's some other colleges that don't accept dual credit. Colleges handle the whole AP experience differently. And while I'm on the subject of AP, parents, taking an AP course is great, but it really doesn't do you any good unless your child takes that AP exam and scores a 3 or better on that AP exam. And so we're looking at ourselves as a school district and seeing what do we need to do to improve the students' chances of scoring a 3 or better. So we are really working hard to make sure that your child, as a part of the Gear Up cohort, has excellent opportunities to score the very best they can. I almost forgot, I made myself a note about extracurricular activities. Fred mentioned some. He mentioned volunteering. There are numerous opportunities, parents, to volunteer. If they are a part of a church group and their youth group has a service project, all we need is for that pastor or the youth pastor or someone to verify that that's happened. As a former high school principal, I had students that would go and tutor and read at the elementary school or middle school. They served on student council. They were in the band. They were in the drama club, the debate team. So you want to make sure that you get your students locked into the activities that will put them on a pathway to college.
Can you hear me?
So I'm going to turn it over to Cinnamon Phillips and let her close us out.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, parents, thank you for tuning into our second Tuesday parent series. Just a reminder, our National Gear Week is next week, September 19th through the 23rd as well. Please tune in for our next Second Tuesday Parent Series every second Tuesday of the month.
Well, again, parents, we want to thank you all for your time this evening. And Fred, thank you again. This was invaluable, and
Pleasure.
trust that we are going to use it to make our students successful.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, and thank you very much. I really appreciate the invite.
You're welcome. Everyone have a great night, and we will see you the second Tuesday in October for our next session.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hordge.
Thank you.